I shouldn't have come back to Colby. That had been painfully obvious right about the minute Lala had opened the door the night before. My relief at seeing her, at her still being in the same place, hadn't lasted more than a second before she'd staggered away and screamed, trembling hands out in front of her, looking at me like she was seeing a ghost. And then a little girl had come running into the entryway to see what was happening. A little girl with my eyes. "How are you here?" Lala had asked, sounding terrified and dumbfounded. I'd slowly dragged my gaze from the little girl who was studying me, my stomach twisting uneasily for some reason. "I still had your address." Lala's head and hands had quickly shaken. "How?" "Jocelyn said." She'd glanced down at the girl and pressed her hands to the girl's shoulders. "Get ready for bed, Nora." I'd watched her go, that unease growing and growing when she'd glanced over her shoulder to look at me one last time as she climbed the stairs. Once she was on the second floor and out of hearing distance, a soft cry had left Lala as she studied me. "I just can't believe what I'm seeing." "It's been a long time, I know. I'm sorry." Her hand gripped her chest, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Emma, your mama told me you were dead." Suicide. That's what my mom had told Lala the last time she'd shown up begging for money. What's funny about that? I would have been 18, meaning I was still living in the RV at the time, saving up for New York. The RV my mom had never come back to. The next time she'd come back to Colby had been 2 years later. She hadn't asked for money, just dropped off a quiet, watchful baby and said, "Ain't going through this shit again," and left. She hadn't been back since. Which meant for nearly 6 years, Lala had been raising my little sister. For even longer, she'd thought I was dead. And my mom was truly staying away because she didn't want the responsibility of a child. For whatever reason, she'd chosen to spare Nora the life she'd dragged me through, used me to achieve. I pushed my legs harder and harder as I crossed the street on the way back to Lala's house, as if I could outrun the sliver of resentment that had formed in my chest when I'd learned the truth about Nora. But it remained, making me feel like the worst kind of human. Not that I ever would have wished my life on anyone, especially not another child. But why did I have to go through that life at all? What was it about me that made her decide to keep me close and ruin me over and over again? What was it about Nora that allowed her to let that daughter go, to give her a chance at a real life?